So my name is E. I am an artist in multiple avenues. I do photography, I paint, I sketch. I also go to school for engineering, and art is my way to kind of cope with a lot of stress. And just when life hits me and I have to stay focused and not drown, that's kind of my way to stay afloat. So since it's Pride weekend, I wanted to make sure to make a statement. I feel like the Black queer community oftentimes goes unacknowledged and we're silenced, we're not listened to, and so I wanted to bring attention and awareness to our voice, because although we're not listened to, we're seen and we're appropriated and we're talked to, and it's really cool to see the influence that we have, but it's not dope that we die. We have a lot of trauma, and we don't get help. We don't get talked to about that type of stuff. We get asked about the surface level topics, and that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so I had this platform, and I noticed there was a lot of diversity tonight, and that made me happy. And a lot of people complimented my artwork as I was doing it, and that made me feel good, because I just had an instance at work where I had to report somebody for microaggressions, and that made me really sad. So I was like, let me just hold it together and not internalize, because oppression feels bad. Any way you cut it,
we need peace.
But I was happy that in my workspace environment, my boss actually gave me a safe space to speak, and that the situation was handled. But yeah, I was not gonna just take that laying down, because too many people have
you better speak your truth.
Yeah, too many people fought for our voices to at least be take that duct tape off.
Facts.
Just because other people don't listen to us doesn't mean we don't say nothing now.
Facts.
And so I'm glad that I was listened to, even though I wasn't necessarily understood.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what my statement was about. There was a lot on my mind today. Acceptance, I think that's the first step, because oftentimes it's just thrown under the rug. And
you think it's just because we're still a Bible, as a Bible state, or it's Oklahoma, or
I think it's just the Black community as a whole, because if you look at the Black community outside of America, you see that there's a lot of discrimination against the LGBTQIA community. And that's just
I was just curious of okay, if we have this community, we need to address these issues so we can be able to continue to be community and be whole, and we can't be whole if there's so much division within our own shit. But
within our youth, there's a lot of community. You see a lot of the Black artists binding together and supporting each other.
Good shit.
And that's beautiful. I saw this boy who I used to go to church with. He came out and he's doing stuff with Pride, and it's been years and years since I've seen him. But it's just amazing to see not only him but the people that he's surrounded by, uplifting him, because we both came from the church community. And I'm still affiliated with religion, but I don't necessarily call myself denominational, because I find truth in all major religions. And so
you find yourself spiritual, they say?
Yeah, I find truth in having a balance between a religious affiliation and spirituality, because if you look at it, anybody who follows a religious structure usually has a better quality of life. They follow basic human principles of decency. Rather than living a hedonistic lifestyle, they more so look at it as a community rather than individual.
Right.
And so I think that's why religion is kind of important, but spirituality is definitely like,
you should be
up
connected
there.
in some sort of fucking way.
Yeah. That spirituality kind of comes first for me.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I think that it's really beautiful to see the Black youth come together.
I love it.
But within our community, I think there's an age gap. Like with acceptance, we're still waiting for that older generation. That way we can feel more comfortable with like being ourselves.
I see. When you say older generation, who are not of LGBT community?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I see the more division.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my first Pride being like fully out to my family.
Oh wow.
And I remember trying to come out when I was like 9. I told my mom, I was like, hey mom, like I think I'm bisexual. Like I like girls. Like I have a crush on this girl at school because I felt comfortable enough with my mom that day. And that experience really scarred me. Like I wasn't able to come back for that for 11 years. And she had already moved to a different state, and we were on the phone one day, and I was like finally more comfortable being out as an adult.
Yeah.
So there was this girl that I was trying to like date casually, but like I knew we were gonna be out in public together.
Yeah.
And my mama has friends, and so I was like, I don't want her to like be blindsided if somebody else tells her. So like, let me tell her. And so one day I was just like, I had so much pent up like just inside me. And so I was in the Brahms parking lot, and I was like, hey mom, like do you remember that time that like I told you I like girls, and like y'all had like a conversation with me about like going to hell? Like do you remember that? Because that really scarred me. And we had a deep conversation about it, and I was glad that she was receptive eventually. It took a few weeks.
Of your feelings,
Yeah, she is more accepting. She still kind of says like, if I talk about a girl being fine, but I don't really care. She's my biggest hater anyways. That's why I have hater blockers.
You ain't popping if you ain't got haters, bitch. I love it. Hell yeah.
I need to feel more open and like being able to be myself.
Facts.
No matter what, love you. And if you feel lonely, just find comfort within yourself and know that your tribe will come to you. The people who are meant to be around you, the people who are meant to support you will gravitate towards you once your energy is right, once you're willing to accept it. Like, life can be beautiful, you can be yourself. Like, we are in a time, we are in an era where we're allowed to, so don't take anything laying down. Like, you can be yourself.
Freedom from struggle.
Yes.
All day. Thank you.
You're welcome.